Good day, mates. Paul.K.Dragon here, and wow, we really reached that point, eh? We don't even know what Call of Duty is even trying to be anymore. This is gonna be a very long video. Not only are we gonna talk about Activision and how pathetic they are and the lessons they need to learn in order to make a better franchise, but I'm also going to talk about the Call of Duty community themselves and their fan base, because there are some pretty bad toxic apples in there on Reddit, Twitter, pretty much everywhere else, and how they come up with various excuses to defend the Call of Duty franchise, and I'm going to debunk all of it. So, strap yourselves in, we're in for a long ride. Alright, let's talk about Activision first, and we can come up with one question to be asked. What the fuck is CoD now? Like, seriously, what the fuck is Call of Duty? Like, it used to be a very fun, casual, military arcade first-person shooter years ago that everyone can enjoy, and fast forward to later, and now look at it years later. Call of Duty is now a money-making cash cow with some money-making scheme running in the background. Years ago, we had loot boxes, and we all know how bad they were. We had companies like EA pretty much saying, hey, it's not gambling, when in reality, it is gambling. Now, fast forward to years later, and now we have microtransaction bundles with a strict matchmaking system centered around it. You see, years ago, before Modern Warfare 2019 rolled around, skill-based matchmaking was designed so you can literally play the game at your own pace and slowly get better over time. But fast forward to now, and skill-based matchmaking has been completely changed. Sure, you can get like 1 or 2, maybe 3 good games, but then the skill-based matchmaking system starts matching you up against players way above your skill level, until you either lose on purpose, quit the game entirely for a week, maybe more than that, or buy a bundle from the store. Yep, you heard that last one correctly. If you made any purchase from the store, the matchmaking will put you in easier lobbies. Yup, it's a pay-to-win money-making scheme. Activision, when you have something that says, buy our expensive video game, it has a matchmaking system in it that doesn't allow you to have fun as much, but it encourages you to buy more, and more, and more, and more, and more, and more, then it's not a video game. It's literally pay to win. Stop calling it a video game. And well, let's be honest. If Activision were to remove skill-based matchmaking, they're only going to come up with another money-making scheme that's going to be way worse. And now Activision has very, very low stocks. I mean, on Steam, it's getting outsold by Lethal Company, a multiplayer horror game made by one guy. Now, usually when it comes to people trying to defend Call of Duty, one of their arguments is, did you know how much money Call of Duty makes? Yes. Yes, I do. But you're not really asking the other real question here. And that question is, do you know how fast they lose it? You see, when it comes to running a business, it's more than just money. It's all about satisfying your customers and your employees that work for you. You treat your customers like champions, they'll treat you like a king. If you treat your customers like you're a bad pet owner, you may as well be a dog begging for table scraps. In the end, it really does not matter how much money your game makes. If you have a company with a shit reputation like Activision's does, and majority of the time you have a crap customer service, You treat your customers like shit, you treat your own staff like shit, and you get lawsuit after lawsuit, get refund after refund, to players losing interest and they're not buying stuff from your store and everything else like that because your game is not fun. They pile up. And you're gonna lose all that money very fast. Now let's talk about Infinity Ward for a second. People say that Modern Warfare 2019 is by far the worst COD ever made, and it's Infinity Ward's worst work, but I have to disagree. Modern Warfare 2 reboot is the worst COD Infinity Ward has ever made. I mean, seriously, they bring in changes literally no one asked for. A perk charge timer system. All maps are interconnected. They're all based off Warzone. Warzone was not any good at all. The menu UI looks like you've seen something out of Hulu or Netflix. Dead Silence is not a perk, it's a stupid field upgrade. The weapon progression system is just confusing and ludicrous. They make DMZ literally pay to win. The only good thing about Modern Warfare 2 is just the game mode invasion, and that's it. Yeah, Modern Warfare 2 is just straight up awful. And I can easily say that this is Infinity Ward's worst game they've ever made. And despite people saying that Modern Warfare 3 is just an expensive Modern Warfare 2 DLC with a very, very short campaign, at least give Sledgehammer this. At least they actually listened to the community. And they pretty much undid all of the awful decisions Infinity Ward has made in Modern Warfare 2. And I'm gonna be honest, Modern Warfare 3 would have been better if Infinity Ward didn't have the final say on everything. I mean, Sledgehammer knows how to listen to the community, but Infinity Ward doesn't, but Infinity Ward expects you to listen to them? Yeah, Infinity Ward, after your disaster that is Modern Warfare 2, who the fuck's gonna listen to you? Now, as I'm making this video, Paul.K.Dragon has officially retired and left Activision, which I'm gonna say this as of right now. Thank fucking God he's gone. He has done some horrible shit to Activision, to its employees, to basically everybody. Paul.K.Dragon has been an absolute menace for years. And hopefully with him gone now, Call of Duty and Activision can get back on their feet, start listening to the community again, actually fixing up a lot of the problems. Hopefully they actually address skill-based matchmaking and finally doing something about it, probably changing the pattern or something. Maybe that's pretty much why they haven't talked about skill-based matchmaking until Paul.K.Dragon left. Hopefully with Paul.K.Dragon left now, we can finally get some news about it. But even with Paul.K.Dragon gone, the damage has already been done, and Call of Duty will never improve. But, hey, maybe that might change, who knows. Now that I've done talking about Activision and Bobby Suckadick, let's talk about the majority of the Call of Duty fanbase and the community, because, oh boy, is there some stuff to talk about. Let's start off with the whole skill-based matchmaking argument, because usually when it comes to skill-based matchmaking, you usually see two excuses when it comes to it. People that tell you to, oh, just get better, just get good. And the other one is, oh, you just want to pub stomp players all day. So let me get this straight. You want players to be better, but at the same time, you don't want them to get any better, so they won't pub stomp players. So essentially, you want players to be bad and be good at the same time. Let me ask you, how does that work? Like, seriously, how? One question you're asking, when are you gonna get better at the game? The other question is, oh, you just want to pub stomp players all day. Here's a better question. When are you going to make up your fucking mind? Either you want a player to be good at the game or you don't want them to. They cannot be both. And here is the first problem when you're using the whole, oh, we don't want you to pub stomp players all day. Then that kind of defeats the purpose of telling them they should start getting good in the game. Because guess what happens when you tell them to start getting good and start getting better at the game? Guess what happens? They stop pub stomping players left and right. So first you tell them to get better, and now you're telling them that they shouldn't? Again, make up your mind. And now we get to the you just need to get better argument. First problem with that, it takes time and experience in order to get better at the game. And how do you actually take your time and get better at the game? You play the game at your own pace, and you can slowly get better over time. There are no shortcuts. Again, you can't just force someone to be better at a video game. It takes time. It takes patience. They need to actually enjoy and have fun playing the game at their own pace first. Then they can slowly get better over time. But when you have yourself a matchmaking system that prevents them from doing that and forces them to go up against players that are 5 times better than them, then it becomes a major problem. But you have to understand though, Paul, what if these people try to get better like their favorite Call of Duty Twitch streamer? You do realize a majority of COD Twitch streamers most likely cheat, right? D Divinity, Nadia, Young, Captain Baldy, Icy Vixen, Beard Banger, Darvscar, Mr. Golds. You know what all of those streamers have in common? That they got caught cheating on Twitch. Hell, Nadia got permabanned after being caught cheating multiple times. So yeah, using COD Twitch streamers as an inspiration to get better at the game, yeah, really bad idea. Also, you really don't have to play like a professional COD player. You really don't. You don't have to bunny hop around every corner you see. You don't have to slide around every corner you see. You don't have to slide cancel all over the place. You really do not need these things in order to be good at the game. Hell, you don't need them back during the golden ages of COD, from COD 4 to Black Ops 2. You didn't need them back then. Why do you need them now? And here's another problem when it comes to people using, you just want to pub stomp players all day. Well, I hate to break it to you, but that's usually a sign that a player is getting better. If you're not showing signs of players stomping others, then how are you supposed to know if you're getting better or not? You also have to consider the disbanding lobbies into account. How are you supposed to know if you're getting better at the game if the lobbies keep disbanding and you're facing random players all the time? Back then, when the lobbies didn't disband up until Black Ops 4, this pretty much means you have plenty of time and plenty of games to study your opponent. What weapons they prefer, what playstyles they run, what perks they basically use, what lethals they use, what tacticals do they prefer. And you can make yourself a class that completely counters theirs. Is pretty much what makes Call of Duty motivating back then. But now, you can't do that anymore. And while I'm on the topic about players getting better, let's rewind the clock a little bit back to the golden ages of COD, from COD 4 to Black Ops 2, because I've encountered this quite a number of times. Imagine, if you will, you pretty much suck at the game, and you get your ass kicked by a certain player of some sorts. So you took his advice, and you're slowly getting better over time. You learn the maps, you learn the guns, you learn the perks, you learn the tacticals, you learn the lethals. You pretty much learned every route there is possible that's on the map, and you slowly get it better over time. You go back and you challenge that player, and then you kick his ass multiple times, only for that player to turn around and accuse you of being a cheating hacker, without even providing any evidence to back up his claim. Then again, you did tell that player to get better in the first place, so what did you expect? Now let's get back to you need to get better argument. Okay then, how about you try to get better when your ping is slapped at 300 to the point where your bullets won't even land on the target and you're rubber banding all over the place, while there's a constant danger that the servers might disconnect or even crash. Try to get better at the game under those circumstances, and then we'll talk. Also, with how skill-based matchmaking works now, the better you do, the worse your connection gets. So, you're basically telling me to get better to make the connection worse. While we're on the topic of connections, remember this? This is the search preferences from Black Ops 2. Where you can search for matches based off your connection type, either best, normal, or any. If the developers and Activision are worried about latency and connection quality, they could have easily brought this back and fixed everything. But yet, we haven't seen an option like this since Black Ops 2. It wasn't present in Call of Duty Ghost, and we haven't seen it in years. If they brought this back, it would have fixed everything. And now we've come to the final portion of this argument. And this affects both sides. You just want to get better at the game. You just want to pub stomp on players all day. What if a player just wants to play the game and simply have fun? You know? I mean, that's pretty much the reason why they bought their $70 purchase in the first place. It's a video game, not some aggressive competitive sport. But you have to understand, Call of Duty is supposed to be competitive. A competitive what? Seriously, a competitive what? And don't you bloody dare say video game. Because it needs to be entertaining and fun in order for it to be a video game. And I can understand if you made a video game that's supposed to be difficult as a selling point, that I can understand. But Call of Duty is a different story. But usually when it comes to the skill-based matchmaking argument, whenever it's on Twitter or Reddit, people act like the word fun doesn't exist. And if you're saying that video games should not be fun, then you have no idea what a video game is. Fun and entertainment do not need skill-based matchmaking. It's unnecessary. And now there's even words that there's gonna be a patent within Sony that their single-player games are supposed to have skill-based matchmaking in them. I have to ask, why? They're single-player games. Having skill-based matchmaking in them just makes no sense at all. And you know what's funny? Years ago, when the first Call of Duty game was released, it won Game of the Year at the Game Awards. Fast forward years later, and Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3 was getting mocked at the Game Awards by the voice actor of Kratos. But hopefully now, with Phil Spencer in charge of the driver's seat, hopefully Call of Duty will get back on its feet again. Or they might make the same mistakes and ruin their reputation even more. But who knows? I'm Paul.K.Dragon, and I will catch you guys on the flip side. See you all later.